Hello, I am Fatima. I'm an expert from BIWE. We are the vocational education and training organization of the employers of Baden-Württemberg in Germany, southwestern state. In today's model from our seminar implementation of dual vocational education and training, we want to talk about the onboarding of in-company trainers and the importance of the in-company trainer in the dual training in the training company. As you know, dual training is strong in Central Europe. The region of the world has its own specific history and current reality, but it works in other parts of the world too. Myself, for example, have been many years active in implementation and strengthening of dual training in Portugal. And believe me, it has benefited many young people and companies here. So, if you want to implement dual training in your country, perhaps you need to adapt. In the end, you have to fit your local situation and the needs of the people you want to be together. Before we begin, I want to say thank you to both German institutions. The first one is the Federal Ministry of Economy, Cooperation and Development, BIZ, and the second one is SECUR from Bonn. Without their support, this seminar would not be possible. In this model, we will speak about the role of the in-company trainer, the competencies and the needed know-how to perform the activity and how to prepare the in-company trainer for the role and responsibilities in the in-company training. The first point on which we need to reflect is the role of the in-company trainer. On one side, he needs to be a manager and to be able to execute the task of a manager in the whole process of the dual training, planning, taking decisions, be able to steer and to adjust if necessary, to control, having the right communication tools for the different persons involved in the training, needs to inform and to instruct in the right way and the right time, and to be linked to the different involved partners to assure the synergies in the team. On the other side, the in-company trainer should be a leader. What is for you a leader? We think that in the two examples of the description of a lead that we share with you shows very well what we mean with to be a leader, and the difference to a boss are clear. In the following slides, we will share with you the different aspects that the in-company trainer should know or be able to do. A reminder for those that attended the model about quality assurance of the in-company training and also for the others. What means a good use of the lookbook? The training lookbook is an instrument that supports the in-company trainer during the whole process of the dual training. With the logbook, the in-company trainer can make the in-company training in a planned way. The training objectives will be result-oriented. The information will be available and controllable not only for the in-company trainer, but also for the apprentice, the coordinator, or the owner of the company, or the director of the company, or human resources. The training content is planned for the next month, and the in-company trainer can organize the activities and short meeting at the beginning of the month to figure what is new and what are the productive tasks. We'll assure that the training objectives will be reached and known by all involved people. The training logbook will stay with the apprenticeship in the training company during the whole process of the dual training. The training logbook will support the training activities and helps to reach the training results and objectives, assuming the high quality of the dual training. That means also that the apprentice will fill up in the report a part of the daily basis and a weekly control by the in-company trainer. At the end of the month will be a final evaluation, and the keywords written in the logbook and the training logbook will be in line with the verbal feedback from the tutor. Our experience shows that normally the apprentice doesn't fill up very regularly the part of the daily report, and sometimes this part accumulates, and at the end of the week or sometimes at the end of the month, the apprenticeship has forgotten this information. So we recommended that the apprenticeship has a booklet apart in the diary in the company to take notes. It will help the apprenticeship to understand if he's filling up the tasks and the objectives settled in the accompanying training, and to fill up correctly the daily report. Important feedback for the accompanying trainer and the tutor. The lookbook is an important tool to accompany of the dual training and the accompany. But there are other situations that the accompanying trainer has to take in account and should take care of them to support the integration and the development of the apprenticeship in the company. The companies have different internal regulations, but the apprenticeship should use the uniform or to be adequately dressed, and that also means the safety equipment of the company, of the training company in this case. The apprenticeship should use, if possible, a locker to store his personal things or have a desk or desk drawer for his things. The accompanying trainer should assure that the apprentice has his own tools and access to the tools that are used together. It's important to promote that the apprenticeship is considered the youngest employee of the company. As mentioned before, there are different people involved in the training process in the company. The accompanying trainer is not the only one responsible for the apprenticeship, and he can involve other team members in the training process. And it's important to keep in mind that the accompanying trainer and the other team members as well should dedicate some time to the apprenticeship, because in the accompanying training the apprenticeship should not only acquire professional competences, but also the interpersonal relationships will contribute in a positive way to the personal evaluation of the young person. The training companies have different versions and strategies, but independent of the company and the working area, the accompanying trainer needs always to balance the competing goals and the trade-offs during the accompanying training. It starts with accomplish the goals from the training logbook versus to put the apprenticeship working in the real and urgent tasks in the company. Often, the point safety competes with the autonomy, work and of the apprentice. Difficulty is to find a middle way. We have the same situation for the passive and the active parts in the training. To tell something to do to an apprentice doesn't cost so much time as to do it as himself. It means if the trainer does it by himself, it's less a waste of time. Another critical point is to send the apprenticeship with different staff and different tasks versus assign them always with the same task and the same colleague. It saves time, and sometimes there are boring tasks that nobody wants to do, and it's easier to ship them to the apprentice. The accompanying trainer is often a father figure of the young people in the company and often orients the apprentice. But to balance the straightness and the comprehension regarding the behavior and the attitudes of the apprentice is also a challenge. The same is reflected in the positive feedback and the critical feedback. When is the right moment to give a positive feedback? It's possible to give too much positive feedback. Should I, as I'm a accompanying trainer, be more severe? There is no perfect solution. The right balance is the secret, the key for the right way. But don't forget that the accompanying trainer is dealing with young people in the poverty and with different problems in their world. That means that what is good for one apprentice may not be good for the other apprentice. In the next slides, we will discuss about how the accompanying trainers can be prepared and how provide further training. A common problem of our days is always lack of time, and is the same problem of the companies and the further training for the employees. This will be also a challenge regarding the accompanying trainer. We have different options for this matter, and we will explain it in the following slides. An option can be the German AIVO system and the official certificate. It means 80 hours and on-the-job coaching by the coordinator. Another solution can be the ITCA approach from El Salvador. That means 2 days seminar each year and on-the-job coaching by the coordinator. And the third alternative is the SOS Rwanda approach. That means 3-hour seminar and on-the-job coaching by the coordinator. Perhaps none of the suggestions are workable for your case or country, but it's possible to create a solution adapted to your needs and to your conditions. The AEVO system in Germany has been tested for several years and has always been adapted and upgraded with changes over the years. We can divide the contents of the system in 4 pillars. The first pillar we can call check and plan training requirement and treats. That means, first, the advantage and benefits of an accompanying training are a very important argument for the companies to accept apprentice for the dual training. Second, the participation in planning and decision regarding the accompanying training. Then, the structures of the vocational training system. In this case, we are speaking about the German dual system, but we can adapt it into other local situations in other countries. Then, selecting of training occupations for the company. The difficult part for the company or the employee is the planning of the training activities. Underlines a good preparation of the accompanying trainer in this team. The next point is examination of the company for suitability. A training company must fulfill different criteria to be able to welcome apprentices and to train young people properly in a dual training. This point should be not viewed lightly. And access and implemented of preparatory measures. The preparation before the accompanying training starts is not less important. It's important that other employees are informed. As mentioned before, the apprentice should have a space for his things. Planning the activities from beginning from the first day of the apprenticeship. Example, welcome, guide to the company, presentations, and so on. Ensure regulations and safety and well-being of the apprentice and the other points should be prepared. Coordinated tasks of the participants in the training processes are different people involved and the accompanying trainer is the connecting link. The second pillar consists in prepare the training and helps to recruit trainees. The accompanying trainer will deal with the following aspects. First, create a process-oriented training plan. The further training will equip the accompanying trainer with the necessary knowledge and tools. Then, consider the role of the employee's representation in the Germany context. But you can prepare the accompanying trainer in your country with additional information taking account your local situation. Determine the need for the cooperation with super-company training facilities, in German überbetriebliche Ausbildungsstätten. Also in this case you need to see what the possibilities in your country are. In the slide before we spoke about the examination of the company. Latest in that moment you know if you need to take action to complete the in-company training and what additional support are needed. Criteria and procedure of the selection of the trainees. It's important to know how to select the right apprentice for your company and what criteria you need to define for your company for your needs. Prepare the vocational training contract. In your country you also need a training contract adapted to the local situation. Different countries and different realities, but it's to fix in a training contract, and the German version can be a good example and base for your one training contract. Examination of the possibilities of training abroad. Nowadays, the experience acquired in other realities is highly valued. In Europe, it exists different programs to incentive young people to have a stage abroad. Why not start fostering the idea earlier during the Encompanying training? Often it's possible to do it in the same company in another country. After the preparation of the Encompanying training, the third pillar builds on the first two pillars. Now we will dedicate our attention to the implementing of the Encompanying training. In this phase, the Encompanying trainer will learn to conduct the Encompanying training for the apprentice. That means, for example, create adequate conditions for learning. Physical conditions such as a workplace, desk, workbench and other aspects that support the integration of the apprentice in the company. Organize, design and evaluate the probability period. The first weeks are a challenge for the apprentice. Normally they are very young and is the first contact with the labor world for the apprentice, a different word from a school. In the most of the cases, after overcoming this barrier, the next weeks and months will be a little bit easier. Develop and design learning and work tasks. It's supposed that the Encompanying trainer knows the company, and now it's important to develop small steps for the training. The further training will give the Encompanying trainer a good support for these tasks. Selection and use of pedagogical methods. In many cases, the Encompanying trainer is very good in professional technical issues, do his or her professional, but for an Encompanying trainer it's also important to have the know-how regarding the pedagogical methods. These tools will help the Encompanying trainer to plan and realize the training with the apprentice. Without adequate methodologies, it will be difficult for the trainer to transmit their know-how properly to the young person. Support apprentice. As mentioned before, the apprentice as a young people need different support. Normally in a professional level, but sometimes the Encompanying trainer will incorporate as a father or as a mother figure and should have a balance between strictness and comprehension, positive and critical feedback. After additional qualifications and the option of shortening the duration of the apprenticeship. These aspects are usually in Germany, but you can try to find other solutions in your country. In a country where the official language is not English, you can support the apprenticeship in participating in a specific language exam and granting him or her an official certificate of a language level, for example as A2, B1, P2. It will be an extra certificate for your apprentice. Conflict management, promotion of social and personal development. Another example that shows that how important are tools and methodologies in personal development. Competences and know-how that is essential for the Encompanying trainer and to be used in the training process, allowing the apprentice to grow up also in this area. The importance of an interpersonal relationship is often neglected during the training. Access performance, evaluated results, due conclusions. In this part, the Encompanying trainer will work with more instruments that will support this task. And the last one is to promote intercultural skills. In the actual world, it's very important to understand other cultures. We have never been so close to knowing other and new. In the following slide, we will speak about the fourth and last pillar, finishing the apprenticeship. This pillar is dedicated to the last step in the training of the apprentice. The Encompanying trainer prepares the trainee for the exams and lead them to the successful complementation. Initiative the registration for exams is a bureaucratic part of the exam preparation. Important is have in mind the specific limitations of your country, as example the dates. Creation of a written certificate based on the performance review. This is a very important part of the training. It's a highlight, the icing of the cake. Advice about personal development paths with the company and further training opportunities. We promote a lifelong learning, so it's important to start earlier to instill it in the apprentice. In slide 9, we mentioned 3 different options how to prepare the accompanying trainers and provide them further training. In the slides before, we presented the German way, an extensive and complete training. But the ATCA's engineering school in El Salvador found a solution adapted to their reality. They developed a 2-day seminar for each year and one on-the-job coaching by the coordinator. In this seminar, the themes and questions that are currently or in the first phase are important in the reality will be addressed, but at the table for other realities. The third option is the example of SOS Rwanda, a 3-hour seminar and on-the-job coaching by the coordinator. The idea is to enable the accompanying trainer to start and the seminar give the basic know-how and to allow him to begin with the dual training. Topics of the seminar are the key elements of the dual training, the role of the accompanying trainer, the role of the coordinator, practical advice, what to consider when you deal with young job beginners, the lookbook, how does this work, and planning the first days. Now, your solution for your context. Let's work in a small group which way may work best in your context on onboarding the accompanying trainer. Estimated time 50 minutes. After exercise we will share and discuss each group results with the course. I hope this video was useful for you. If so, feel free to give us a like. I wish you a lot of success in your activities. Bye bye.